Hello friends, let us now learn a new topic today about the next drug, which is alcohol. See, first we will see the alcoholic metabolism. Alcohol in detail is also dealt in psychiatry in alcohol abuse disorders. So here we will just give some important points which are relevant to pharmacology only. Okay, so if you see alcohol, first we will see the metabolism of alcohol. Alcohol is nothing but ethanol. This ethanol, in the presence of ethanol dehydrogenase, it gets converted to acetaldehyde. This acetaldehyde which is produced, it in the presence of acetaldehyde dehydrogenase, it forms acetate or acetic acid. This acetic acid gets converted to carbon dioxide and water. Okay, now the ethanol. Okay, why does one drink ethanol? Ethanol mostly they drink it for pleasure. It starts with pleasure, experimentation, and slowly it becomes a dependence disorder, and finally the patient becomes abuse. So this alcohol or ethanol, this will activate GABA receptors, right? So once this activates GABA receptors and increases chloride conduction, this ethanol also inhibits NMDA receptors and thus inhibits or decreases glutamate neurotransmitter, and both these will lead to pleasure, and there is also release of endogenous opioid leading to pleasure like effect. Okay, now what are the drugs? So the uses, first we will see uses of alcohol. Okay, the uses of alcohol, if you see, alcohol is used in chronic intractable pain which is associated with trigeminal neuralgia. There are two main uses of alcohol. One, it is used as chronic intractable pain associated with trigeminal neuralgia, or it is used in treatment of methanol poisoning. Then if you see, the treatment includes two types. One, we have aversion therapy which are available. Second, the normal inhibitors are available. So in the aversion therapy, that is, if you inject or if you ingest these aversion therapy agents, these will produce some unpleasant compounds resulting in they will produce some irritative compounds resulting in unpleasant reactions like flushing, hypotension, tachycardia. So all those features will be seen. So the aversion therapy, most important drug is disulfiram. Because of this usage of disulfiram, it results in a disorder which is called as disulfiram like reactions. Okay, so what are the drugs which are involved in this disulfiram like reactions? The drugs which causes these disulfiram like reactions include, we have griseofulvin, metronidazole, cefoperazole, cefotetan, moxalactam, procarbazine, okay, chlorpropamide, okay, alcohol plus insulin or sulfonylureas. So all these will result in disulfiram like reaction when these are combined with alcohol, when these were taken along with alcohol. Beware of these agents while using alcohol. Then what about the contraindications? The contraindications include, alcohol should not be used with epileptics or liver disease or peptic ulcer, GERD or hyperactivity. So these are the complete contraindications of alcohol. Next, the next drug after alcohol which is important is about methanol. So if you see methanol, what is the metabolism of methanol? Methanol, in the presence of alcohol dehydrogenase or methanol dehydrogenase, it gets converted to formaldehyde. This formaldehyde, in the presence of aldehyde dehydrogenase, it gives rise to formic acid. Okay, this methanol has an antagonist which is called as fomepizole. This fomepizole is the drug which will inhibit the formation of formaldehyde and thus prevents methanol poisoning. So if you see, what are the symptoms of methanol poisoning? The symptoms of methanol poisoning includes, at 15 milliliters, they cause blindness. Why is this blindness occurs? It occurs due to formic acid which causes retinal damage, blurring of vision and congestion of optic disc. So this formic acid causes retinal damage, blurring of vision and congestion of optic disc, and as a result it can result in blindness. At 75 to 100 milliliters it can cause, these are fatal dose. Okay, this can even kill the patient. 75 to 100 milliliters dosage, this can kill the patient. Then if you see methanol poisoning, when do you call something has methanol poisoning? We call it as methanol poisoning if the dosage of methanol is more than 50 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, or we can also call this formic acid. There is one more side effect of formic acid where it causes lactic acidosis, and this lactic acidosis is a high anion gap metabolic acidosis which is recorded. Okay, then what are the symptoms? The symptoms of this methanol poisoning include vomiting, headache, epigastric pain, hypotension, bradycardia, seizures and coma. How are you going to treat it? Treatment is, first you will have to do gastric lavage with sodium bicarbonate, and you should give sodium bicarbonate even for acidosis also. Then if there is hypokalemia due to alkaline therapy, then you can give potassium chloride infusion. You can also give ethanol as a treatment for methanol poisoning, because ethanol will competitively, it competes with alcohol dehydrogenase for getting converted into acetaldehyde, and as a result methanol cannot get metabolized. So there is decreased formic acid. So ethanol can also be used in methanol poisoning. Then fomepizole. This fomepizole will inhibit acetaldehyde dehydrogenase. This will inhibit the formation of formaldehyde, and thus this is used as an antidote for methanol poisoning. You can also do hemodialysis, which will help in removal of methanol, or you can give folate therapy, which is leucovorin can be given. The next drug which is important here is, the next agent which is important here is ethylene glycol. So this ethylene glycol is used as an antifreeze agent. This ethylene glycol metabolism, ethylene glycol gets converted to glyceraldehyde, which in turn gets converted to glycolic acid. So if there is any ethylene glycol poisoning, the main symptom which you see in ethylene glycol poisoning is renal tubular acidosis and excretion of oxalate crystals in urine. You see renal tubular acidosis and excretion of oxalate crystals in urine. So the drug of choice for ethyl glycol poisoning is fomepizole. Okay, then the next final group, that is ethylene glycol, which is used as antifreeze, and renal tubular acidosis and excretion of oxalate crystals occurs due to ethyl glycol poisoning. For ethyl glycol poisoning, the drug of choice is fomepizole. Then the next group is smoking dependence. The drugs which are implied in smoking dependence. So these drugs employed in smoking dependence can be divided into two types. One which are first line drugs, second which are second line drugs. First line drugs mainly include, we have nicotine replacement therapy, where there is nicotine patches, gums and inhalers. Then we have bupropion and varenicline, which are most effective. There is second line drug which is clonidine and nortriptyline are the second line drugs which are associated with smoking dependence. We also have one more which is called as Rimonabant. This Rimonabant is banned. Okay, and what is this Rimonabant? Rimonabant is a cannabinoid receptor antagonist or inverse agonist. Why is this Rimonabant banned? It is because it is associated with increased risk of depression and suicidal tendencies, and as a result this Rimonabant is banned. Okay, that is about smoking dependence, where first line and second line. Okay, so this is about alcohol dependence, methanol dependence and ethylene glycol dependence, and ethanol poisoning, ethylene glycol poisoning, and we have also seen about smoking dependence. So thank you guys for watching my lecture. In the next class we will learn about anti-Parkinson's drugs. Thank you.